Well, fresh off the plane from the weekend's game, very, very good man. The captain of the co-captain of the West Coast Eagles joins us, Oscar Allen. Hello, Oscar.
Hello, mate.
Hello, Scars Dan. How are we?
Very good, mate. But we haven't had Aussie on BackChat for a long time. We let him recover.
I think we owe it to Aussie to bring him back into the studio and like do another episode with him, like a proper one.
Was he our first?
He was one of the first, and we weren't even really videoing it at the time. And so now we have a proper setup. I think we should bring him back in and do it again.
What do you think, Oscar?
You give me the date and time and we'll be there.
All right.
You also weren't captain back then either, but I mean, that doesn't really change much in my eyes. Mate, little recap on the game. Clearly disappointing.
Welcome back.
To lose that one. Yeah, welcome back. How did it feel out there for you, mate? You've missed a lot of footy this year. How'd you feel?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you watched the game. The first half, I was as rusty as you could get. I almost had to get a tetanus shot at halftime. It's funny. Like, you do as much training as you can, and to be fair, that's been 14 weeks to 3.5 months. And physically, I felt fit and ready to go, and then just my touch was a little bit off. But I was pretty happy with how I played in the second half. And then obviously as a team, like, it is disappointing because, like, Essendon top 4 side, we go away from home. We're a kick away from beating them with 5 minutes to go. And then it blows out a little bit late. But yeah, once again, we show signs of improvement but don't win. So it's bloody frustrating. And I know it is for fans and that, because they hear, oh, we're improving, we're getting somewhere, and then you're still losing. So I'm eagerly aware of that. But personally, I'm just happy to play. Like, I've gotten the flight home with a smile on my face because I wasn't sitting on the couch watching.
I feel that. Get your hopes up as a fan, and then but it's all right. There's improvements. There's improvements. I'm a fan. I can say this.
You wanted to ask Oscar about captaincy.
About co-captaincy. I was just going to say that you were, like you said it. You were looking felt rusty. There was one mark that just went straight through the hands, but then straight after that, I think you locked back in, and I felt like, oh, he's back. So yeah, your second half was great. I did think
just some
about
observations from down with the couch, mate. Just so you know, a ball went straight through.
I will just say, last time I performed some sort of physical activity in front of Oscar, he was throwing shade at me the entire time. I was throwing hoops up at the Wildcats game. Like, just went on the court afterwards because I'm a big dog. Yeah. And they said, yeah, I saw you brick a few. So, I'm just going to return the favour. If I'm going to see your performance, we'll talk about it. I did notice when you guys ran out of the race, Duggo was leading the team. And I wondered if you were going to get, he has had the limelight for a fair bit of time now. What was the chat around, like, who gets to do what? Because he also flipped the coin.
This is actually a good story. So
great.
I've gone to Duggo, and you have leadership meetings every week, and Simo basically had TV, Duggo and I, and said, what do you guys want to do this week? Like, how do you want to merge Aussie back into the side? And I just said, like, I just want to be a part of the 23 this week. I don't want to do the toss. I don't want to do the speech. I just want to be one of the boys. Like, I'll start taking over that stuff in the future. I just want to be part of it this week. And they go, sweet, no worries. So as we're running out, I'm next to Duggo, and I get halfway up the race, and I'm going, I've left my mouthguard in my bag. and I've sprinted back down inside the change rooms, searching through my bag, like, oh God, I forgot my mouthguard. And, like, I've played with a mouthguard forever, so I was like, I'm not playing. Can't find my mouth. Anyway,
someone get emergency.
Found my mouthguard, run back out, and then get out there, and then the boys are pissed themselves because Duggo reckons he was waiting at the banner for, like, 30 seconds, a minute for me, and they just went, oh, fuck, we'll go, he'll be fine. And then in the warm-up, I'm just having a laugh with Matt Innes, S&C, and some of the boys, and I was like, I can tell I haven't played in 15 weeks. So there's one thing I need to take with me out on the ground, and I've forgotten it. So, no, it was pretty funny.
It's good you made it out there. So I know how footy works. So, okay, so you weren't going to do the speech. Did you do the toss? Who tossed the coin?
Nah, Duggo did it as well. So I literally said to him, mate, you're the captain. You've been the captain all year. You run the show.
Great.
But I said to him, at the start of the year, we kind of had a funny agreement that whoever does the coin toss, if you win that game, you keep going. Yep. So incentivise. So if we won on the weekend, Duggo's doing the coin toss this week and that week. So Duggo did the toss, and I kicked 2 goals for, so I get to do it next week. So looking forward to it.
Mate, I saw you about 3 or 4 weeks ago at training And I was gobsmacked. You look like some sort of Adonis, mate. You were glistening. You just sort of come back, start running. You were, and I don't mean, you weren't like, oh, gee, Oscar's put on a few kilos. I was like, Oscar Allen looks fit. You were wearing Josh Rotham's jumper, which may or may not have lent into that a little bit. But have you put any kilos on over this break you've had off from playing, or how's the rig in that regard?
Yeah, I've put on a bit of weight. I find it funny now that it's almost like voodoo to talk about players' weight.
Oh, sorry. Should I not have asked about that, Oscar?
Yeah, mate. You get arrested for that.
Yeah, I find it strange. I'll divulge. So I used to play at like 92, 93 kilos, and I'm up at about 96, 97 now. So I put on a few kilos and a bit stronger. I think collectively we all have. Like, look at Jake's body as well. Like, Jake's a lot stronger than he has been in the past. And like, his physical contest work this year's been awesome and something that I've watched. And I thought, you know what, like, why don't I take the leap and put on a bit of extra weight as well and not sacrifice a little bit of my aerobic stuff, because I can still maintain that, and that's always been my strength. But I think you can do both at the same time. So I put on a little bit of weight. I've trimmed a few kilos since I was out there, because as you just train more and play more, like it falls off you a little bit. But yeah, I'm feeling strong, still in the upper body. That's where you put your focus on when you're in rehab. So yeah, it's been good.
How's it feel coming into this forward line? You've got second place in the Coleman medal, the Loosh. He's kicked a lot of goals this year. Are you well aware that that's your position now? You're probably second, third tier in this forward line, mate. You might be the captain, right? All hail Oscar, but just make sure you know your place behind the Loosh, mate.
Well, it was funny. Yesterday I was getting a lot of this from Jake, like, get out of my face. So, he's actually been great, like, for the year he's had and the 12 months before it. Like, he's handled himself so well, and like, he's one of my best mates. So I'm just happy for him. And that's what I said to a couple of the boys this week, like Jaiden and Jakey, just like, what can I do to help complement you guys? Like, I don't really care about, you never really care about kicking goals or whatnot, but like, I just want to play. Like, I want to be out there and having fun with you guys. So what can I do to help you guys get better? Because hopefully Jack's so durable, and Jakey and I are both quite young in our careers, but hopefully we're doing this for 5, 6, 7 years. So let's get it right now and keep working towards how we want to play as a side. So, but Jake's been so impressive. Even yesterday, like, he was awesome. He's been the exact same person on field and off field. He's probably taken more of a leadership role, which as a teammate is been something I've really noticed. And yesterday, really directive and helping the boys out. So he makes my job easier as a skipper as well, because Duggo's got the midfield and back line sorted. Duggo's got midfield, TB and Gov sorted out the backs. Yes. And now Jakey, Cripper, JD are sorting out the forwards. So I was just able to run around like a headless chook and have a bit of fun.
Sounds like a good gig.
I was speaking to Mark Lacroix on the weekend, and was speaking about you and the forward line structure and Jake specifically, the Loosh. You tell me from inside the club whether this is a good observation or not. I feel like Jake's actually been this sort of player for 3, 4, 5 years. Hard worker. Like, all of this stuff he's doing, everyone sees the mark at the end of it all and in the kick, the goal. But the work rate's actually been something in Jake's game that he's probably had forever. Like, I used to hate playing on him at training. But he just probably lacked... He honestly wasn't taking those marks. He was getting his hands to it, and he wasn't taking as many marks as he is this year. We're now seeing this year, anything that goes near him, he marks, and he has a shot on goal. You mentioned he hasn't changed as a player. Would that be a right observation, that he hasn't changed too much as a player? He hasn't just come out of nowhere?
Yeah, like, I think the first thing I'd say about Jake is he's played such a selfless role for the team. Like, in the last 5 or 6 years, I've been fortunate enough to, alongside JK and then JD, to play more of a deeper forward role. So you get more of those isolated looks in the front half. And Jake's been so sacrificial helping support with our defence, which every team does with a high half forward. But like, you watch his waffle form in the last 5 years, he's doing now what he did in 2021, 2020, 2019. Like, he was having 30 and kicking 5 every week in waffle and was taking the mick out of it. And as you said, no one wants to play on him, because the last thing you want at training is someone who's just going to work his backside up the ground, beat you back to goals, and then tick back up the ball. But you're probably right. I think the last thing that comes to a good key forward is your hands. Like, once you get your hands sorted, you're perfect, right? Because you got you start with a good base of work rate, being a good contest player, like respecting the game aerially at ground level, which Jake does. And then when your hands start clicking, it's like the final piece of the puzzle comes together. Like all that hard work is worth it because it just sticks. And then you get opportunities at goal, and Jake's always been a good kick as well. Like he's pretty much a full package, and people always maybe thought, oh, he was not that tall. But he's the same height as JD, and JD's done it for 15 years, so I don't see why Jake can't do the same.
Pretty good career.
Yeah, he's clunking everything. Those hands are incredible. Love watching.
Any more for Oscar before we let him go?
Oh, well, look, I'm going to the game on Sunday, coming up against Hawthorn. So just please get a win. That's my only request, if that's possible.
Is that right?
Sounds good, mate. It's going to be a tough game. They are probably the form team of the comp.
Very good.
Sydney. Like, our mate Mitch has got him going really well, hasn't he? Like, he's built this culture of celebrating. Like, you watch how they celebrate and get around each other. I remember in pre-season, we were doing training drills, and the winner of the drill wasn't who won the actual footy. It was who had the best celebration afterwards. And, like, I feel like that's the vibe that they've got there, and it just creates a conducive environment of everyone working together and celebrating each other's successes. So it's working for them. It's going to be a good challenge for us.
No doubt that's something you're trying to replicate inside your four walls. Before I let you go, and I'll never let you forget this, just remember when you debuted at AFL level, you were a backman, mate. So you may be up front, kicking goals and...
captain of the club.
Look, I would say the way you played on the weekend, you kicked like a backman, mate, right? You didn't quite know where the big sticks were, right? And just don't forget where you came from. You're a backman.
Mate, my first two impacts of the game yesterday was just spoiling the ball because I knew I wasn't going to mark it. So that's the one thing I'll never lose. Mate, I think, all honesty, the best thing I've ever done in my footy career was playing down back to start, because it just taught you exactly what I don't want to do as a backman, and then the areas you can excel as a forward. So I think every young key position player should play back and forward just to experience both sides of things.
Very generous with your time, mate. Thanks. We'll let you get back to sleep.
Thanks, boys. Have a good day.